Hey, this is AV Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com. In this review, I will be highlighting the transformation, special features, and other notables of the VF-1J Valkyrie Hikaru Ichijyo version from the 1982 anime series Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. This particular set comes from the Origin of Valkyrie line, which was released in 2008 to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the beginning of the Macross saga. Takatoku Toys originally designed and built the 155 scale Valkyrie that you see here, but they fell under after the end of the Macross series in 1984. So Bandai later acquired the rights to the sets, and they released a number of reissues. This is the 2008 reissue of this particular set. The VF-1J is perhaps best identified as being piloted by Hikaru Ichijyo, who is 16 years old in the TV series. It's most recognizable by, well, other than the head design, it's most recognizable by its base white coloring with red highlights. Just how the majority of the time that you see this on screen, Hikaru is piloting it. So here we are starting out in fighter mode. The most noticeable thing for me, or the most unusual thing I noticed, is that the wings, typically the wings are, slightly diagonal with each other, but in this case, and I'm not sure why, the wings can actually open out to 90 degrees. Now, I have never ever seen a Valkyrie with the wings open 90 degrees perpendicular to the rest of it. It just doesn't happen. It gets kind of close. I think that's about as close as it gets, but never to a full 90 degrees. So that's, I don't know if that's an Origin of Valkyrie thing or if Takatoku originally designed them like that. I don't know. The landing gear on each side, on the nose gear. Let me start over, folks. Is completely die-cast metal, and it has a spring built into it. So you just pull this little lever here, and that comes out there. Now the back landing gear actually a little quote-unquote nicer. Not only do they have the spring-loaded feature, or the spring-loaded pop-out feature, but they also have these little doors, which very comfortably just cover up everything, so you can't really see them unless you're looking there. I got the hiccups. Ugh. Maybe I should hold off filming. Maybe not. And you just pull back on those, and it pops out. These will just do whatever they want to, but gravity usually pulls them back out. Usually. The undercarriage laser cannon turret barrels can point down and up. Now in this particular case the head can't really turn side to side. It can if you force it, but I wouldn't really force it if I were you. So that's kind of a limiting factor. The jet exhaust nozzles can open and close easily enough. The V-tails are nice clicky V-tail design. So older designs, you had to kind of wedge it into place and hope it stayed put. And that's it for the description of fighter mode. And now the transition to gearwalk mode. Unlike some of my previous videos, I'm actually going to do this while I have it here. One of the things you can do is, and this is more fighter mode with VTOL than it is the gearwalk mode. You can open up the landing, or you can open up the legs like that. And notice, and like I said, this is kind of sort of gearwalk mode, kind of sort of fighter mode with VTOL. So it's kind of an in-between. But the point is that the arms stay stored in place. The undercarriage stays in place here. Oops. Here's another variation on the gearwalk mode. You don't see this version either with the V-tails still open. You usually don't see that. What you usually see is this. You usually see this version of the gearwalk. Posability enters into play here. The arms are And this is the design that's associated with the Takatoku Toys version, the TT version. Just the way they designed it, I don't know if this was an intentional thing or if this was just unavoidable because of the toy technology at the time, but you'll see the arms hang diagonally rather than vertically. So you could hang them vertically, but you'd be putting pressure on it that you don't want to. The arms are very posable. It's standard, you know, 90 degree swivel, things like that. So the left hand has a gap in it. I'm sorry, the right hand has a gap in it and the left does not. The legs are a little more of a limiting factor. You can only push them that far forward. Now ordinarily the legs would be able to twist 90 degrees forward so you could do that heavy aero braking or retro thrust or whatever it is. But in this case, that's as close as you can get. And it allows you to do that, of course. But, and you know, you could turn the legs straight if you wanted to, but for gearwalk mode the legs are always tilted backwards at the knee, with a reverse knee. So the ankles, unfortunately because of the toy technology at the time, again, the ankles cannot twist forward and backward, they can only open and close like that. So you're a little limited as far as the legs go. The undercarriage turret can now twist side to side because it's not bumping into the stored arms anymore, so you can actually turn it side to side, and the cannons are still posable there. The special features set comes with a gun pod, and of course, you know, you guessed it, you can stick it in the right hand only like that, or there's a special clip that's provided with the set, and what you could do is you slip it over, you slip it over the right side there, and then you put, and the reason they do this toy cannot do it, but when it's in fighter mode with the arms stored, the gun pod would sit in between the arms here and then the engines, but then when it would fold out, it would actually end up in this location. But since the fighter mode can't do it with the 155 scale toys, you just have to kind of settle for this. There is no shoulder strap provided with the set, but I didn't really find that much of an issue. Rather iconic looking figure here. And now the transition to Batroid mode. One of the issues that TT was able to solve was the transition between fighter and gearwalk modes, and then the transition between those two and Batroid mode. The issue at hand was, how do you get the hips from way up here to way down here? In the series, there's a pair of hydraulic pistons which fold from here to here. It folds all the way down, and then the hips hook into like a pop-out joint or whatever it is here. Well, as I've illustrated here several times now, Takatoku overcame this with this metal die-cast bar here, which just flips the whole thing down. And then there's a peg which fits into the little holes here. So that's how Takatoku was able to overcome the issue. The only problem with it is that the legs hang a little closer to the torso than you'd like. The Takatoku toys are lovingly referred to as Chunky Monkey, I found out recently, which I find hilarious. Oops, wait, oh, hey. Oh, hey, yeah, okay, I need to catch myself here. The cockpit can disengage, or I should say the canopy can disengage, which, by the way, it's been tinted. Compared to the original Takatoku version from '82, this version has a tinted canopy as opposed to a clear canopy, but it still comes with the replacement, which is the exact same size and shape and all those wonderful things. And this fits in here like this, and by the way, this line has been painted on, it's not molded in. And then you fold this, or you slip this down over it. have the VF-1J Valkyrie in Batroid mode. Posability is pretty much the same. This folds all the way up. Maybe I should tilt the camera up so you can see it. This can open up. The arms are not hindered in any way compared to the gearwalk mode. If you can imagine the gearwalk mode, you know, fold out like this with the nose towards the camera, the shoulders would have been pointed outwards diagonally, but here you can see that the joint has been reset to parallel, or perpendicular, whatever the phrase is. The head is something of an anomaly. Space was not an issue, and you'll understand what I mean in a moment here, but literally the lower half of the face is missing. It's like they just kind of slapped the visor and the gun turrets on there, but they forgot, you know, the little pointed Gundam-y chin on there or whatever it is. And it's something kind of unusual. A little bit of trivia here. After Takutoku Toys fell under in 1984, and Bandai purchased the right, Bandai actually produced prototype molds for redesigned VF-1J and VF-1D heads because they weren't completely anime accurate. But unfortunately, those molds never made it into production, so they've always had this head design, which is always, you know, slightly off. The legs can fold about like that. You know, you can also, you know, do that if you want to be weird. The legs can also fold backwards a bit. Now, at this point, they'll bump into the wings. So if you want to open up the wings, you can also tilt it that extra little bit right there. As with the gearwalk mode, you can attach this clip here, put this clip on here like that, or you can simply attach the gun pod as is. Now, in case you're wondering what this little sensor pod on the top here is, this is actually a trigger. Each Valkyrie set comes with these five little, they look like missiles. These actually look like the missiles that the Valkyrie would use in the series, but they actually, each one of those is a little projectile. It's about an inch long. What you do, you stick it in here like this, and then quite simply you fire it off. Now these are powerful little suckers. They'll go about across a flat surface. I mean, they're very powerful. Clearly this is something that was made in the 80s where they didn't worry about you poking your eye out, or they didn't worry about you sticking it up your nose if you were a toddler. So make no mistake, this is a collector's item because it comes from a time when toys used to be fun. Perhaps the biggest surprise for me when I opened this up, aside from the fact that, you know, half the head is missing, is that the VF-1J Hikaru version is it's base white with red trim, but in this case it's base light gray with red trim, which is very unusual. You don't see light gray very much. You don't see gray very much at all in the Macross designs from, you know, the original series. Later designs maybe, yeah, but not this one. In fact, they use white more often than not. So for it to have this gray on here is a little bit of a throw-off. The background actually has the slightest bit of yellow. This has a little bit of yellow on it, which kind of sucks. It throws off all my photos and video, which really sucks. But this gray is, well, gray. It's supposed to be white. Why isn't it white? I don't know. The other thing that surprised me is that this set comes with an enormous amount of decals, or I should say pre-stamped labels on them. Just every detail you see on here that's not plasticky has been pre-applied or printed on. These are warning labels that they have like actual English text on them. So, you know, check the air brake airflow system, caution, air intake, make sure you discharge this before you do this, make sure you have this tool in order to open this, caution, strong electric discharge will kill you, blah, 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 like you'd see on a real Valkyrie. So, but the thing is, these all come out pre-applied. The only thing that didn't come pre-applied, which you've seen on camera here, are the 4 red, well, they actually look orange, the four red triangles on the front and the back of the shoulders here. Those are the only decals that I've applied. And that's just to bring it up to the standard look that you see in the anime series. If I had 2 complaints as far as the detail scheme or whatever it is, I'd say why not leave it base white? And I can understand, the UN spacey, the red stripes, all the red on here is exactly where it needs to be. That's good. But all these little warning labels or whatever it is, those are kind of annoying. It would have been nice. It's nice to have them on there. It gives them a bit of authenticity. But it would have been nice if Bandai had given me the option whether to put those on there or not. So after I'm done with this video and after I'm done photographing and all is said and done, chances are I'm probably going to add 2 or 3 more decals and then that's it. This is about as anime accurate as I can get appearance-wise. As far as features go, I'm not disappointed at all. As I said, the shoulder strap for the gun pod that it's missing was, that wasn't much of a problem. But this is still a good toy. I mean, I love these things. I got a VF-1S Super Valkyrie for Christmas '91, which is how I knew it. And that was a Bandai release, which means it had some minor modifications to it that you don't see here. Like the smaller doors down here were not there, because you'd actually see the wheels. The spring and the nose gear was missing. You actually had the canopy was screwed into place. You actually had to attach a clip that slipped in there. Most of the labels were missing. You actually had to apply almost all of the lettering and all of the stripes and special labels and even these little circle things. Can somebody please tell me, was the Valkyrie the origin of these circles with the line through them? I've seen them all over the place, but the Valkyrie is perhaps the earliest instance. Can somebody please tell me if that's where they come from and what they're supposed to be? I don't think of their maneuvering thrusters. It's just one of those things that you see in anime all over the place nowadays. And so even though Valkyries, the VF-1 class Valkyries have been done to death by 2009, this is a nostalgic toy, and make no mistake, this is a toy. This is not, it's a collector's item because it's an old design, but it's still functional, it still works. It can get beaten up a little bit, I would say, mind the tails, mind the antenna, mind the bullets, but otherwise this is a wonderful toy. This is the standard, the Takatoku VF-1 155 scales are the standard by which I judge all other transforming Valkyries. So these are really, really good toys. I love them. Even compared to the Yamato 160 scale 2.0s. These things are closer to anime accurate. They're still Chunky Monkey. By the way, Chunky Monkey, that's awesome. They're still Chunky Monkey, but it's a very good Chunky Monkey. Very well designed. Last thing I got to mention here before I close this video out, I want to send a heartfelt thank you out to Shogun Dan, who is the CFO and co-owner of CollectionDX.com. He literally didn't have any time to cover the 4 Origin of Valkyrie sets. And he didn't email me, he called me and said, Ava, I don't have time to do these, would you be willing to do these? And I said, yeah. And so, I opened up that 4-foot box, and that was like Christmas '91 all over again. That was a little kid opening up a box at Christmas is what that was. That was a pretty incredible feeling. But I also know how painful it must have been for him to first acknowledge to himself he's not going to have time to do it, and second, actually have to send them off to somebody else to do them. Not put them off till later, but actually send them away. That must have hurt so bad. So Shogun Dan, I feel your pain, but thank you so much. I really, really appreciate what you did. You made a very happy collector over here. And so, This is AV Unit 4A for CollectionDX.com, signing off.
真っ黒の空を貫いて地球を打った雷は我ら幼い人類に目覚めてくれと放たれた。マクロスマクロス惜しくたった若者は愛する人をかばいつつ旅立つ日々を戦い開く Will love me tomorrow 闇を切り裂き飛びゆく先は遠く輝く青い星